A boss be rising, BBTV's igniting, turn the volume up, yeah, the whole world's invited. From the gravel roads to the neon dreams, she built an empire out of broken wings. Boss be rising, sky ain't even the ceiling when she hits go live, everybody feels it. She's the queen of the comeback.
Hey, tonight's letter didn't come from my inbox. Nobody sent it to me. There isn't a stranger waiting somewhere to hear what B thinks they should do. Tonight, I'm writing to myself because today is my oldest son's birthday. And after spending this week talking about the complicated parts of parenting grown children, I realized there is another side of this story that we don't talk about nearly enough. Eventually, we're lucky we get to stand back and look at these people we spent years worrying about and protecting, teaching, and trying desperately not to mess up and think, would you would you look at you? Okay, so tonight there isn't a problem to solve. Tonight I just want to appreciate the answer because there is an answer after all.
Need advice? Ask a bee. The answers may not be perfect, but they'll be entertaining. Submit your letters and let bee mind your business for a while.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to Ask a Bee in our week of talking about parenting after our children become adults. Now, we've talked about helping without rescuing. We've talked about giving advice they may or may not take. We've talked about becoming grandparents and learning that experience doesn't always give us authority. But tonight, we're doing something different. Today is my oldest son's birthday. So tonight's letter is from B to B. Because somewhere in all the worrying we do as parents, I think we sometimes forget to stop and look at the evidence. We spend years wondering whether our children are going to be okay. Then one day you realize you're looking at a grown person who has been tested by life, made difficult decisions, built relationships, survived things that you couldn't fix for them and kept moving forward. Maybe once in a while mom needs to stop worrying long enough to notice exactly who she's looking at. So, I'm going to start tonight with the letter from me. So, dear me, it seems silly, I know, but it's worth it. So, dear me, today is my oldest child's birthday. And before I say anything else, I want to say this. He is an amazing man. He's had some tough times through his life. His wife has been sick, and together they've had to make decisions about life that no one should ever have to make. But that's not why I'm writing this letter. Today I'm talking about all of it. I'm taking all of it into account. And I'm looking at him through the eyes of a mother who is profoundly proud of the strength her son has shown. He's been through a crazy world and somehow come out on the other side of it with so much purpose. To be honest, I'm in complete awe of him and his wife. One of our favorite words around these here parts, YouTube, is resilience. My sister, Mama Lyons, knows that word, and we share it together on Ladies Diary, but that young man has a great deal of it. I'd like to say I had something to do with that, but because I am his mother after all, but I could never take credit for the man he has chosen to become or the strength it has taken to endure some of the things adulthood has put in front of him. Yeah. Without going into too much detail, there is something I do want to say. There was a time when things were uncertain for me, and my son offered to stay to help me. Of course, I would never have let him stay. He had worked so hard to begin building a new life with the woman who is now his wife in Florida. And there wasn't 1 ounce of me that was going to allow him to put that life on hold for me. That's one of those strange moments in motherhood that nobody really prepares you for. You spend all those years wanting to protect your child, and then one day you realize you've raised the kind of man who turns around and wants to protect you. Like I said, I don't know if I have much to do with that, but um, okay. I didn't need him to stay. I needed him to go. I needed him to build the life he'd worked for, even if part of being his mother meant standing there and watching him walk toward it without me. And when my life settled down and they were ready, I was given one of the greatest honors of my life. I got to officiate their wedding on a beach in Florida. I got to stand there, not only as the person performing their ceremony, but as his mother. Giving my son away was one of the hardest things a mother could ever do. All of my children. And one of the easiest decisions that I've ever made because he deserves the life that he has. He deserves the life they're building together. And I gained her and the family she brought into ours. I wasn't losing my son that day. I was watching his world get bigger. There's a difference. Even if a mother's heart takes a minute to figure that out. And sure it did. I think it does for all of us. So when I celebrate my son's birthday today, I'm celebrating so much more than the day my oldest child was born. I'm celebrating the man that child became. When your children grow up and start living their lives the best way they know how, one of the hardest things we have to learn as parents is to let them. Sure, I wanted to fix everything for all of my children. I think part of me always will. But there is something far more rewarding about watching them overcome those obstacles themselves. Because now I don't just hope they can do it, I know they can. They have. I see the receipts every single day. Maybe that's one of the greatest rewards we ever get as parents. One day you stop looking at your grown child and wondering whether you prepared them for the world, and you start looking at the way they've handled the world and realize you already have your answer. So today, on my oldest child's birthday, I have just one question for myself. How awesome is your beautiful child? Truly. Signed, a very, 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 very proud mama. And you guys, I'm just not going to put that letter up and not talk about this a little bit, but we have to have more visuals. I don't know if he's going to watch this. He, of course, he's going to watch this, and that's okay because I made this for him. My son is worth every single moment that I'm sitting here right now, and I would do it over and over. Sorry, I'm messing with my cameras and stuff here. All right, I had to get the rest of this in here. Yes, I'm a little teary eyed, and no, I didn't forget. I want you all to meet my adorable, wonderful man son on his 18th birthday. We're going to go way back for a minute. Yeah, he's probably going to beat me, but I don't care. That's my boy. That's his 18th birthday. Driving a car. Mama taught him. All right. Yep. He's my little hippie boy with that long hair. You know what? He loves long hair, and I love it on him. And everything that he loves, I love. And This is probably one of the most proudest moments in my life right here. This is my son Dawn. Isn't he great? He's gorgeous. And oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to see my pictures here. You know, we've had some fun in our lives. We have. I do hope he comes in and watches this when he gets time off from work. But then another one of my most favorite times. Yeah, this was right after this right here. Let's see that one. Yeah, that is me officiating my son marrying this beautiful woman, her family and ours standing with him. Let me tell you something. This young man is remarkable. My children, of course, I am biased. I am going to say it. I am biased. My children are amazing. Yours are too. You know they are. But listen, let's talk about this a little bit too. I'll lay off the pride for a minute because I know that first half is probably going to have him blushing a pretty red, but he sure does look good in red. So, talking points. Now, there comes a day when you realize you're not looking at your child anymore. You're looking at a man you happen to have raised. Look, I don't take credit. I don't. Sure, I got him to his 18th birthday. Yes. And sure, there's probably things that I've taught him he's listened to. And okay, I'm proud of that. But the man that he is today, he became that all by himself. And, he's got a few years behind him too. So it's obvious that he's a smart kid. Pardon me. He's a smart young man. Parents spending so many years looking at their children through the lens of responsibility that it can take a while to recognize when the relationship has fundamentally changed, right? You remember the baby, the little boy, the teenager, and every version in between, but the person standing in front of you has experiences you didn't give him, relationships you didn't choose for him, lessons you didn't teach him. And you know what? Strength he developed through living his own life. There is something humbling about realizing your child eventually becomes someone you are still getting to know. That's not a bad thing. It's an amazing thing. I like the fact that there are things I don't know about my son that I still have something to find out, because I helped build the foundation. I know I did that part, but he built plenty of that house himself. Maybe parts of parenting adults is allowing ourselves to stop evaluating whether we raised them correctly and simply appreciating the human being they chose to become. I think that's probably the better choice. Sometimes the proudest moments come from watching them handle something that you couldn't fix, right? This it's cruel, okay? When you think about it, it's really cruel for us because you want to fix it. I want to fix it. I've done that so many times that I just want to fix everything because every parental instinct tells us that being a good parent means protecting our children from pain. But once they're adults, some of the clearest evidence of their strength comes from circumstances we desperately wished they'd never had to face. There are things that all of my children have had to face that I wish they hadn't. And believe me, when it was appropriate, I did as much as I could. But you cannot take every illness away. You cannot make every difficult decision for them. You cannot guarantee their marriage will never be tested. Their finances will always be comfortable or life will always be fair. You can love them through those moments, but ultimately you have to watch them navigate some of themselves. And then one day you look at how they handled something incredibly difficult with love and commitment and responsibility, compassion and resilience, and realize the thing that you couldn't protect them from revealed something extraordinary about who they are. And that's with my son Zachary, Don. He There's not a day that goes by that my children don't surprise me in some wonderful way and make me feel like, that they're going to be okay when I'm not here. That's one of the things I think that we worry about the most is, are they going to be okay when I'm gone? Let me tell you, and I've said it all week, and I will say it again and again and again. I am certain that my children will be fine. I really am, especially with all the things that they've gone through in their lives and things that I couldn't help with. Not because I didn't want to, but it just wasn't possible. And my son's birthday today. He's been through so much, but I can't believe how incredibly strong he is and how strong they are together. And listen, they've been together since he was 14 years old. Yeah, very long time. Not going to give you more dates, but look, I'm 55. Y'all can probably guess his birthday. I'm not telling it because, I've already gotten a little too personal as far as I'm concerned. He would be okay with what I'm saying, I'm sure. But that's my point. Okay. There is a certain point where you have to step back and watch them grow. You can't always do that for them. And I have had such pleasure, especially over the last year or two or three, maybe forever, at least the past, I want to say 6 years. I have seen my son become this incredible man that, of course, I don't know him anymore. And that's part of the good thing because every time I talk to him, I get to know him a little bit more. And I get to realize that, wow, mom didn't have to fix it all. She wanted to, and she would have given the chance, but I didn't have to or didn't need to because he's got himself now. And he's got her, and she's got him. And Jasmine, and they're amazing together. I am so blessed that my children have such great partners. All three of them, I love them to death. And my son, my beautiful boy, is amazing. All of my kids are amazing. And I can't stop bragging. Oh, no, I'm sorry, not sorry. Look, letting your child go isn't the same thing as losing them, okay? Parents talk about letting go, but that phrase can make adulthood sound like some sad ending when it can actually be an expansion. Your child leaves home, they move away, they fall in love, they marry. Their priorities change because they're supposed to change. Suddenly, mom isn't the center of the world anymore, and that's okay. That's okay. That's the way it's supposed to be. I get it now, mom, talking to my mom. I get it now. And if we've done our job right, you know, then it's okay. That can hurt, yes, and still be wonderful at the exact same time. When an adult child builds a life with somebody they love, you haven't necessarily lost part of your family. Okay. Your family may have become larger, just like mine has. Let me tell you something. Jasmine's mama, that's my sister from another mister. And let me tell you, I will go to the ends of the earth for that lady because she's amazing too, with an amazing daughter that married my amazing son. And that makes me feel amazing. But I'm serious. She is my daughter in law's family is just an extension of ours because that's how close we are. That's how much we love each other. And I do mean love each other. I love her mom to no end. That's my sister, no doubt. I will never change that. That's my sister. But look, letting your kids go can mean respecting the fact they now have somebody else to protect. Okay. Consider and build with. Maybe the reward isn't having your grown child remain dependent on you. Maybe it's knowing they love you deeply while also having a life that belongs completely to them. And you know what? I know my son and my daughter in law have love for me. I know that. I always get updates. I get a call every holiday, my birthday. We go to see each other when we can. And I know that they're okay. They make sure I know that they're okay. And there are things they're going through, just like anybody else, but they still make sure they're okay. Sorry about the shaky little camera there. My dog decided to plant his butt on the end of my table and scratch. So, anyway, um, thank you, Otto. Eventually, you have to stop asking whether they're ready for life and look at the receipts. Parents can spend decades wondering whether we taught enough. Did I prepare them? Honey, no, you can't prepare them for everything. You just can't. You prepare them for the basics, for growing older, for balancing their checking book or checkbook, things like that. You do all those things. Amen. Amen. Dolly Parton, Tim Curry. It's rough, isn't it? I hate that they're gone, both of them. I can't believe so close to each other, but they come in threes. And Hayden Panettiere was the first. Anyway, I'm talking about my son's birthday though. So you cannot prepare your children for everything, and you need to not worry about trying to pretend that you can. Okay, you, give them confidence. Let them make their mistakes. Right? Should I have done this differently? But eventually, your adult child's life starts answering those questions. Okay, in a phone call. Hey, mom, we're doing okay. Look at how they treat people. Look whether they show up when somebody needs them. Look at how they handle setbacks. Look at the family and relationships that they're building. Look at whether they get knocked down and eventually stand back up. Because sometimes you can be there to help them back up, but you can't get knocked down for them. That's part of the problem. They won't do everything exactly the way that we do, and they shouldn't. It's not them, they're their own people. The goal was never to create copies of ourselves. At some point, we have to stop grading our parenting against some imaginary perfect standard and look at the actual adult standing in front of us. Sometimes the receipts say, Mom, you can stop worrying quite so much. I've got this. And let me tell you something. The first thing that you need to do is believe them when they say so. You have to start believing. Don't get that mom brain going, yeah, but no, leave the butt behind you, lady. I'm telling you. You need to let it go because it took me a long time. And even with 3 kids, it took me a long time with all three to let go. And I haven't entirely let go, but I have them at arm's length like I should. And when they need to come closer, well, my arms are wide open. All they have to do is come crawl in, right? So even though this was more about my son's birthday, I did want to incorporate what we've been talking about for the simple fact that it's my grown son's birthday and he is an amazing man and he has an amazing wife who has an amazing family. And I am in awe of, well, quite frankly, of some of the decisions they've made just in the past year because I know they're going to be okay no matter what. I know this. And I like to think I had a hand in it, but I'm not going to take credit for it. He gets to have it. She gets to have it. Absolutely. And even when I did help, it's their credit because they got through it, even with mom's help. So, how awesome is your beautiful child, truly? Maybe tonight the ruling isn't about deciding who's right or wrong. Maybe it's permission for parents to stop thinking about everything that still worries us, like inventory of what makes us proud. That should be so much more. Think about that. Take inventory of what makes you proud. Forget the job title, the bank account, the house, the mistakes, and whatever definition of success somebody else created. Who did your child become when life got difficult? Are they kind? Do they love deeply? Do they keep going? Do they show up? Have they surprised you with strength you didn't know that they had? Absolutely. Maybe we spend so much time worrying about our adult children's problems that we forget to tell them we see the person handling those problems. Those are the receipts. So on my son's birthday today, I would like to say this. I see you. I see you, Dawn, and I love you, every bit of it. And I'm so proud. So very proud. So this ruling is really personal, but look at your grown child, not the child you remember, okay? The adult standing there now and ask yourself, how awesome is this beautiful human being truly? And let me tell you, mine are amazing. All right, before I get to crying on here, because we don't do that, right? Tonight, I don't have advice for a person who wrote the letter, okay? Because for once, the person who wrote it already knows the answer. I'm profoundly proud of my son. I'm proud of the life that he's building with his wife. And I'm proud of the person he chose to be his wife because she is amazing. I don't know I keep using that word, but there's not a word big enough for the two of them for me. There's just not. You know, the husband that he's become, the strength he and his wife have shown, and the way he has continued moving forward through things I wish neither of them had ever needed to face. And maybe that's the beautiful part of raising adult children. Eventually, you realize you don't have to fix everything anymore. Sometimes you just get to witness it. You get to watch your child, the child you once worried about becoming an adult, who gives you reasons not to worry quite so much. So, tonight, instead of asking you to solve somebody else's problem in the comments, I'm asking you to brag a little. Tell me something about your grown child that makes you stop and think, would you look at you? And to my son, happy birthday. I love you so very much. I'm so incredibly proud of you. And yes, your mother brought receipts. Good night. I love you guys. I will see you tomorrow night. Don't forget, get over there and see my tuber chat. Word up. I'll see you later.
I want to take a minute to shout out Tuber Chat. If you're a creator who's tired of surface level advice, says, and actually wants to understand how YouTube works, that's the space. It's real conversations with real creators who are in the trenches building channels, testing ideas. No posturing, no gatekeeping, no fake guru energy, just people sharing what's working, what isn't, and why. If you're serious about growing, learning, and not doing this alone, check out Tuber Chat. The link is in the description.
A boss be rising.